Hello everybody, my name is Sherigan and I am here to have a look at Deep Rock Galactic. Now, why do I do this now? I do this because this game just released on PlayStation, and that is bloody neat because it was previously on PC only. And I own a PlayStation. I've played this game in its PC version for about 40 hours already. And I figured, hey, I checked this out, especially because this game is currently included in the January PS Plus package, so you can grab it for free if you're subscribed. And I'm here to tell you if I think that's worth doing or not. Now, before we start, a short warning. If you are afraid of spiders or bugs or being swarmed by bugs that look vaguely spider-like occasionally, this is not the game for you. It will probably trigger your phobia. If you want to find out, go ahead at your own discretion, but I just wanted to leave that disclaimer there. So, what is Deep Rock Galactic? Deep Rock Galactic is a four-person cooperative first-person shooter. Did I word that a bit differently? It's a class-based thing. You can play it solo, you can play it with up to 4 people. It's a co-op shooter. It's neat. I'm gonna show you how this thing starts and what we're doing here. So when you first boot up the game, it throws you into a tutorial, but any other time you boot it, you will start just like I do now. We'll be loading into the space station you just saw on the top left of my screen. And here we are, now inside the space station. And right here we have a character selection bit. There are 4 characters in the game, which are your classes, essentially. You've got the driller, the engineer, the gunner, and the scout. I'm currently playing the gunner, that's what the tutorial starts you with. And I just rolled with leveling that. You can see I have levels. Level 1, there's level 10. Now, the driller is basically your, crowd control dude, and he drills rather effectively, which you will see will come in handy. The engineer is what you'd kind of expect. He can place platforms, he has turrets he can build for additional defense, that kind of engineer gameplay. The gunner, look at the minigun, that should tell you everything you need to know. And the scout, well, have a guess what his job is. They're all very neatly color-coded, so it's relatively easy to distinguish them from one another. I will stay with the gunner for now and show you some more of that. Now, as we head out into the space station proper, we can do a variety of things here. I won't go into everything, but one thing I will, equipment terminal. That's another thing. You don't really navigate this game with menus. You navigate it with actual terminals in the space station. Pretty neat. So in my equipment screen, you can see all the equipment I am carrying. Every dwarf comes with a main weapon. See, I can switch to the scout here, for instance. Every dwarf comes with a main weapon, a sidearm, a pickaxe for the mining that is so crucial to this game, and a flare. Then every character also has a utility tool, a traversal tool, a grenade, and armor, obviously. Thank you for that post, that was beautiful. Now, you can customize these. For instance, you have... It's a talent system. If you're familiar with talent systems from RPGs or MMOs, this will feel pretty much at home. You get the rows of abilities. And here, I have currently equipped magnetic cooling. Magnetic refrigeration increases the cooling rate of my weapon. but I could also equip improved accuracy. And if I bought both of them, I can just swap them out here in the equipment screen. And I might want to do that based on the mission I will be going to. So that proceeds down the tier. In my second tier I have overall damage increase, because why wouldn't you want that on a minigun, right? And you can see here, there's also locked weapons that I have not yet unlocked. So everybody gets 3 main weapons to choose from to unlock. You have to start with the default, but you can unlock furthers as you progress the game. And speaking of progression, you can see here, I can't access these. And that is because this is level gated. And there are actually 2 levels in this game. This one right here is the character level. You can see this up here in my character portrait in the top left. My gunner is currently level 10. And this row of talents will unlock once I hit level 12. So that is your character level progression. It goes up until level 25, at which point you will be able to apply for a promotion. That is essentially a prestige system that will roll your level back to 1 and you start the grind anew. That's the system they have in place. I'll say more about that a bit later. The other level is mostly relevant in regards to content and cosmetics, because so far what you've seen here, this is all just combat prep, right? But what about the real end game? What about the fashion? Well, for that we have the shop. And here you can see I get skin color, I get hair color that I can buy, armor suits. These cosmetic. This is all cosmetic, so these do not improve your armor stats whatsoever. That's just in the equipment screen. This is just fashion. And you get headwear. I quite like my Ushanka. I'm going to keep that. But you can see there's quite a variety here. And here, for instance, you can see this is gated by this 5. And that is my player rank. And that is the level you see in the top right here. My player rank is 4. These progress independently of one another. Well, not quite. As you gain experience, both your character and you as a player level up. But you can do that on any of your dwarves and will get XP as a player. Now you might think, wait a second, here in skin color I only saw this level 7 unlock for pale skin, that's it. No, it isn't. They've chosen a bit of a weird thing here also with the hair colors. These are not all the hair colors you can unlock. What they've done is you only see the next upgrade you will be able to unlock once you hit the requisite level, and only once you've reached that you'll see what lies at level 8, 9, 10, 11 and so on. I don't know why they chose to do that. I don't mind that so much because it keeps a bit of a mystery. You can of course wiki it if you want to know. Now, my gripe with this otherwise pretty neat system, because they do have a lot of customization, and I mean, look at the beards. Look at the beards, aren't they fantastic? Yes, I would like one of these. Absolutely, it is volume to die for. Now, my issue is why make this level gated in the first place? Because as you can see, these cost money. They don't cost a lot. You can see I have 41,000 credits right now. And these cost like 750 each. So that is not expensive. Even the armor isn't really that expensive. But why level gate it at all? Like, I personally would much rather have the choice to save up for what I like immediately. Because maybe I just really like this massive chin strap and I want to get it as soon as I can. And I can't. Maybe I really want to go for the Silver Fox aesthetic, but I can't. I wouldn't mind personally if it was more expensive to buy, but the option was there from the get-go, especially since these are cosmetic options in a multiplayer co-op shooter. I don't see why this had to be level gated. Resource gating, for me, would have been enough. And I feel similarly about gating the equipment choices. Now, not here in the talent system, you need some form of progression. I can concede that. You need some form of progression to something to work towards building your character, making choices. That is a good thing that unlocks piece by piece, I would say. But the player level system I find mostly unnecessary. For instance, you get missions here, which are your quests essentially, your assignments, which are your quests, where they are gated behind level. And for instance, this is a difficulty level that is gated behind player level 10. I get why you would do that. You'd say, okay, it takes about this many missions, this many hours on average to get from level 1 to level 10, and we want to make sure people are familiar enough with the game before they charge into the highest difficulty level a game has to offer. However, why not leave that choice with the player? If the player just hops into that lethal difficulty and gets absolutely shredded, they might consider going to a lower difficulty and trying again and practicing until they get there naturally. Of course, you don't want to upset your teammates by joining a difficulty mode you're wholly unprepared for, but again, players are smart enough to generally realize, oh, I'm a bit out of my depth here. I don't quite find this level gating necessary. Nevertheless, that is the system we have. It isn't too bad, it isn't too grindy. I am level 4 after the introductory quest line, and that's pretty good. As for that introductory quest line, I should probably say something about that. When you complete the tutorial, you get a 10-piece quest line that introduces you to all the different missions there are in the game. Now, you can see there's a mission selection terminal, and there are 8 biomes, 6 of which are available at each point in time. And these shift every 15 minutes or so, roughly. There are 7 mission types unlocked once you complete the tutorial. The tutorial walks you through all the different mission types and biomes. So you will have access to all the biomes and all the mission types once you complete the tutorial, except the 2 that you have to unlock via a quest line. That is the system. Now, let's get into a game, shall we? I'm currently on a quest that requires me to do one of these missions, and you can see I can zoom in on an area. This indicator right here, the blinking one, is, hey, this is your quest mission, you might want to do that. And you can see various indicators on that mission. So you can see here we have mission length and cave complexity. Now what does that mean? Mission length refers to how much of an objective, like how long will the objective itself take, and how big is the area you're exploring. Whereas cave complexity refers to how complicated is that space to navigate, regardless of how big it is. That is relevant because Deep Rock Galactic is procedurally generated in its levels. So, you know, if you hop on into a very long mission and a high cave complexity, that is not going to be a doozy. And just by these two factors alone. And when you select that mission, you get a bunch of options. You can solo it, which, emphasis on can, I do not recommend that, because this is a multiplayer co-op game, which... I'm sorry about that. This is a multiplayer co-op game, which is a lot better played with friends. And you will see why as well. You can either host for friends only, or host publicly, or join an existing lobby. So I'm going to show you what that looks like if you were to join an existing lobby. You simply get a server list full of everyone currently doing this mission. You can see their modifiers, hazard being the difficulty level, and the current team composition, which is indicated by the class colors. You can see here, these two people, for example, are a driller and a scout, so they're still lacking a gunner, so I could join them if I wanted to. Now, you don't have to adhere to one of each class. You can easily go for 2 gunners, or all engineers, and people do that just for the heck of it. So play around with that however you like. One thing I would have liked here, or you can actually, never mind, you can actually filter by hazard level. And then you can also filter out password protected servers, which is... If internet connection is a concern for you, you can also select how far away the people should be that you join here. So that is how you do that, but I am going to host my own public lobby. And now this screen pops up and you can see here I could enter a server password if I so wanted, and then I can change the difficulty level. There are 4 difficulty levels by default. You have hazard level 1, which is easy, challenging, which is kind of the normal mode, this is what you usually go into, dangerous, and extreme. And then the unlockable difficulty, lethal. And you can see the hazard bonus here changes. So the higher the difficulty, the more of a multiplier you get on your payout, on the resources you collect as you play the game. Since this is a short mission with a high cave complexity and I want to show you some action, I am going to go for hazard 3, which should be a neat little middle ground where I'm forced to use my entire kit, but still comfortable enough to do this on a commented play. So now we are ready to board this little drop pod, because remember, we're in orbit of a planet here, and we're gonna launch from our neat little space station down into orbit. Now, loading times are rather quick here on PS5. I quite enjoy that. We've already had somebody join us, which is not quite what I had in mind, to be honest. I would have also liked to show you the solo system, because the game automatically transitions you into solo mode for as long as you're still solo. And then, as soon as a second player arrives, the aid that you get when you're solo goes away. So this is the simplest mission type that is in the game. We are simply looking for a resource called Morka. Welcome to Deep Rock Galactic proper. You can see I have my flares that I can throw out. Our team is filling up, so people are airdropping into this game right now. You can see one of them arriving right there. That is really neat. So you can just start the game and get going on your own, and people can join at any point in that mission to aid you, which is super neat. Now I've brought up the terrain scanner, which gives me like an echolocation style map of my surroundings, which is vital to figuring out where you want to dig, because dig you will. And for instance, these these dirt sections right here, they are indicative of a connection to another room, and you can see here that right below us, that direction is another room, and this guy's already digging for it. Bring out a pickaxe, and we dig through. The gameplay loop in Deep Rock Galactic can technically be divided into two sections: exploration and combat. We are solidly in the exploration phase right now. We have our mission of collecting 200 Morkite. Hello, that was an enemy. Of collecting 200 of a specific mineral. But we are of course free and encouraged to mine whatever else we find on the way, especially gold. Now, who would pass that up? These for instance, these clusters right here also indicate there is a special type of mineral hidden nearby. You follow the density bit, you'll get to it. Now you have a so-called mule, which is your walking depository. As you can see, I'm rather full on gold if you look at the bottom of my screen, and I'm holding this huge thing, which is preventing me from doing anything. So I can call the mule and then deposit all my stuff into it. And that is how you actually progress. Anything in the mule will count towards your total and thus progress your mission. We're currently just going down, finding our resource. There it is. It's already dead, isn't it? No, it's not. The light blue thing over there, it's not light blue at all. The rather dark blue-greenish thing over there, how eloquent of me, is the resource we are after. This right here is a rare resource we collect as a bonus objective. So this guy's getting busy with that. This red stuff right here is nitra, which is very, very useful indeed, because it is the fuel for your ammo supplies. You can actually get resupplies on your ammo, because as you can see, I have ammo on my guns. So if we run out of that, we need a certain amount of nitra in our team's bank to be able to call in a supply drop, which will then allow us to restock on the fuel. So those are the pressing mechanics. You saw me pull out this thing, which is a scanner. It's very useful because it highlights everyone around you. It highlights the mule, for instance, and some other elements. And it allows you to ping things. You can see I can press R2 to place a marker. That is how I would ping a specific location. And it also comes with voice lines. So if I target this dirt and say, place a marker, this will give a compacted dirt outline, which will say, hey, this is dirt, we should dig here. This is where we would likely go. And that is how you communicate in this. We don't have a driller, which is a bit of a shame. That will make our digging here a bit more efficient. The other guys haven't really checked out which way we need to dig, so they dug the wrong direction. You can see the game gets quite dark, so your flares, which are on a recharge, are definitely something you want to keep using. Get a bunch of them. And so here I found our target mineral. I can ping that. Now everybody knows there's a node of it down here. I will of course not wait for them, but proceed to mine. So far we have been strictly in the exploration portion of the game. Knowing the game, I'd say a combat phase is probably imminent, and you will know when it is. The game will give you a nice big announcement that stuff is getting serious. But for now, it's leisurely cave exploration with occasional dangers. I've never really run into issues with the level generation, so the levels have generally been very, let me say fair. Ah, there we go. Now that is a warning of an incoming swarm. You can also hear the music change to a more tense synthwave stuff. And now this is basically a horde survival mode for a bit. We don't yet know where they'll appeal from. They could come from the back or the front here. So we're in a tunnel. We'll just have to wait it out and see what happens. See where they dig in from. The music is a very good indicator of these. If the music is this tense, then they will be coming. It is unusual for them to not come in greater numbers immediately, but maybe they spawn further away. It's entirely possible. Now if you think this isn't much of a wave yet, I agree, but you can see they're already starting to pile up a little bit, and there's our first bigger enemy that needs taking care of. This guy has this green bit on his back, which is its weak point, so if you hit that, you will kill it much, much quicker if you hit it anywhere else. Of course, that doesn't mean we can leave out of speed. And right here, we have an even different type of enemy, a robotic one, which is part of what they call Season 1 of Deep Rock Galactic. They've added seasonal enemy types with a seasonal kind of story type and mission type that I will not show you. One, because I have not unlocked it, and two, because I feel it's better to just show you a basic game mode, to not spoil too much. We are in a bit of a bind here. We are currently facing a Glyphid Oppressor, which is one of the strongest enemies you can face. Basically an even bigger, even better armored version of the other guy we took down earlier. This one, for our benefit, seems to be a little bit stuck. Which, trust me, it probably won't be for long. And I will wish it was, because they can do serious damage. And they terraform. Terraform a great deal. And the entire map is destructible. You can destroy anything. This right here is a supply drop. So somebody has requested a supply drop. You'll also see this message in chat, indicating that somebody ordered one. So we can now refuel. The team's fuel levels, or, well, fuel levels, the team's ammo levels, I should say, are also conveniently displayed when you bring up your scanner. You can see these boxes behind, or below the party portraits. They filled out green boxes, those are available ammo, and the grayed out ones are, spent ammo. That gives you an indication of how well your team is doing and whether you should order a resupply yet or not. Of course, if you completely run out of ammunition, it might be a good idea to do so regardless of your team's general situation. Because these supply drops stick around, you don't have to worry about them despawning, they stay where you call them in. I believe we have now converted this drone. Though it doesn't look friendly yet. No, he's still working on it. These drones can be converted, so they will then fight for us, which is very, very neat. Now, we still haven't killed the source of... And that's our bot. We still haven't killed the source of these enemies. But that is okay for now. We shall get to that. I'm currently full on the mineral we need for our objective, so I'll have to deposit One thing that is PlayStation 5 specific that I really want to point out because I really like it is the use of adaptive triggers. You use the trigger buttons to shoot you, which is, you know, normal enough shooter. But the cool thing, the neat cool detail about all is that once your gun is reloading or jammed from overheating, your trigger actually blocks you from pressing it. You cannot, or just with great difficulty, press down your trigger in that situation. So that's another instance of player feedback where the game tells you, hey, this is actually not possible to you right now. And I really like that inclusion. I really like that tactile feedback. Really, really good. It's a neat little feature. It's kind of in the same... No, it's more useful than the rain in Returnal was. But it's a very good, simple, practical use of the DualSense's capabilities. I really quite appreciate it. Okay, another swarm is incoming, so we are now already facing another wave of enemies. I believe we just killed the robot that was holding us. So that's good. We should kind of group up for this, and high ground might not be the... So let me throw a pipeline. I mean a zip line. It's not a pipeline. Pipelines also exist in this game, but for an entirely different game mode. Now you see we get more enemies, flying types. They're very annoying. They can grab you, which you really don't want to happen. Trust me. Because when they do, it's a bit of a pain. They can carry you quite far to get you, and it can be a real pain for your team to get you back. Now that we have something of a vantage point, used to just gun down there. This hologram that you see was placed by one of my teammates, and that also draws the enemies to it. So it's a good way of controlling crowds. We just completed our objective. Very good, so now we have all the morkite we need. We also completed the secondary bit, which is wonderful. This is really going well. Now we will just wait until the wave is over. And as you can see, we get an indication of that via the mission commander, which is really neat. I believe somebody may have activated the mule. No, they haven't. But once the objective is completed, a button will appear on the mule that you can press to initiate the final sequence of a mission. And we'll do that, I believe, as soon as we are through this wave and in working order again. I will need a resupply after this. The thing I haven't explicitly told you yet is you can also use your pickaxe as a melee weapon. In the context of combat. So that is really neat. Gives you a bit of an extra option if you run out of bullets or need to reload. You just swing your pickaxe at an enemy. And you even get an unlockable power attack on a cooldown that does even more damage to it. That's neat. I'm gonna try and call in a supply so we can stock up before we call it a day. That'll make sure everybody's on full, or well, not full, but stocked up significantly.
I'm taking some of the ammo. Getting supplies. I'm taking some of the ammo.
The team is now looking much, much better, and we're basically ready to initiate final phase by pushing. Pushing this button. All for the drop pod.
We're sending in the drop pod. Head for LZ.
So that is how we get out. We'll get a drop pod.
Like that.
We'll get an indicator on the map soon enough as to where it will appear. And now our mission is to make our way back to it. It's usually at the start of the map, but not always. And there's some additional strategies you can employ to facilitate it.
Departing in T-minus 5 minutes.
Now, you can see we're on a timer here. And enemies also start appearing. So you really don't want to trigger this during a swarm. Because essentially what it does is it calls in a mini swarm as well, or like a constant swarming of enemy. That will not leave you alone until you leave the mission. And some of these enemies can get quite annoying, as you just saw. Now the mule is also heading back with the minerals, so if you ever get lost, you see the mule is dropping these posts, which have little arrows on them, indicating where you need to go to follow the mule. Now the mule can run on ceilings, vertical walls, and everywhere else you could imagine, so straight up following the mule in a strict sense might not be possible every time. So you need to think on your feet if you want to make it out, especially on higher difficulties. And usually, since enemies keep spawning, goddammit, people don't bother killing what spawns in this escape sequence, because it is an escape sequence. You're just trying to get out quickly as you can. And the enemies are kind of tuned in a way that they will occasionally appear in front of you. But really, it's a chase. You can always see how far away you are from the drop pod, so... Oof, that was bouncy.
Drop pod departing in T-minus 3 minutes.
And we're getting close. We're almost there, I believe. We still have 3 minutes to go. Looking very well.
You better hurry.
Drop pod is not too far away at this point. I believe we need to go up here. Yes. Now I just take my old zip line. Back down. Oh, but now the drop pod is
Flares ready.
really rather high up. And the mule's doing a bit of a stunt here that I can't do. But what I can do is make another zip line. Oh, one of our teammates just went down. Where is he? I don't see him at all. I don't
Pod departing in T-minus 2 minutes.
know where he is.
The mules from
Oh, he's way back.
Make it snappy, team. The drop pod won't hang around for
So I'm gonna go try and revive him. I'm not sure where he came from. Where I need to go. Reach him. Oh! I need to head into the lion's den, apparently. Still have some time to res him. And get back. Where is he? Where the fuck is he? I am completely lost as to how I get to him at this point. Mule must have... Oh, he's up.
shields ready again.
The choice whether you want to save a teammate or not is entirely up to you in this case. The mission is considered a success
Pod departing in T-minus 1.
as soon as as long as one of you makes it out alive. As soon as one of you makes it out, that is a success on the mission. So, essentially, you can be a bit of a dick. That might be the better thing for you to do if you want the mission to complete successfully. I'm stuck on something and probably dying now. That's what I get for my Valorant efforts. I don't know, mate. I don't know if we can make that. We have 18 seconds to make it to the drop pod. It's gone down that zip line. Sprinting. We are not gonna make that. Get on this zip line. Come on, come on, come on. 4 seconds. No, we're not gonna make it.
Heading for orbit.
We did not make it. The drop pod is leaving. But I believe the rest of our team is on board. So that is a success. Now I get a slight penalty on my own performance because I did not get into the pod. But I really wanted to try and save my guy right there. So you can see we're getting dragged back. The other guys made it out successfully. We all profit from the results. It's a mission success for everybody. You get some post-game stats. And then the real post-game ritual begins. You'll see what that level 4 thing was about in a bit. But that was a mission, ladies and gentlemen. That is Deep Rock Galactic. That was the most basic mission type. I'm waking up in the nursery because I got knocked out.
Keep at it, and you'll make it through.
But I finished my assignment. I hope they don't all leave immediately, because I want to show you the traditional Deep Rock Galactic post-game ritual, which is the Abyss Bar. You can order beer here, in true dwarf fashion. And this guy will always pour out as many beers as there are players in your party. So, feel free to use it liberally. Well, have a beer. I'm already talking like a drunk anyway, so let's have a beer. Toss the mug to the moon and get some music going, shall we?
Orders from management. Stop dancing and get to it.
I'm doing the robot. Of all the options. So yes, Deep Rock Galactic, ladies and gentlemen. How can you not love it? It's got such character. And he's already left and I'm on my own. I'm a sad little robot in space now. I hope you enjoyed this, guys. If you did, please give it a like, subscribe to my channel, there's more like this coming. And I will see you guys next time.